So I messed up, and in today's video I want to go over why I messed up, how I messed up, and how I'm going to fix that going forward. What I'm talking about are two videos I made towards the end of May talking about Starfield. These two are going to be one, a Starfield leak that may actually be true, and then a follow-up video that came out 2 days later saying I think Starfield is fake and this is why. In these videos I put forward things that didn't turn out to be true. I believe I unintentionally misled some of you, my viewers, or any other viewers watching that, and I think more than anything else, I didn't do enough research into some of my sources, and I try to come off as journalistic without actually having some journalistic tendencies. So in this video, right off the bat, I just want to apologize to all of you. If you watch those videos, I'm sorry. I should have put more time and effort into actually making sure the things I was saying were accurate, or just making sure they were more well researched. I'm not even sure it's so much about the time I put into it, but just how I spent that time. I should have looked into the validity of some of the claims I was making and not just trying to find more facts to further my existing claims. I spent way too much time trying to confirm my own statements and not enough time trying to disconfirm them as someone who actually is researching this should be doing. So now I'm going to briefly go over what I said in those videos, why it's wrong, what the correct information would be. So the first one's pretty simple, a Starfield leak that may actually be true. I more or less went over the Starfield leak that was posted a little over a year ago. I believe that leak for a few reasons. First and foremost, it was posted at a time that it didn't really make a ton of sense for E3 hype or fake E3 hype to be posted. It was posted in September of 2016, and that's kind of a time where you're not really going into an E3. There was no big announcements being expected in the coming months. I think that really put me on the wrong track as to believing this when I shouldn't have. Even beyond all of that, it was an old leak. It wasn't something somebody was posting right now about Starfield. The fact that it was so old and they weren't necessarily doing it at a time where they would get a ton of attention made me think it was more believable. And finally, the really big thing for me was the fact that it named Battlecry Studios as being kind of inherited by Bethesda, getting put under their wing. That's not something that was publicly known until a few months ago, and again, this was posted in late 2016. I think my real issue with that video was I didn't look enough into the guy actually posting this. I mean, the post itself was posted on Gaming Circle Jerk, and if you actually look into some of the guy's history, he posts a lot of troll videos on YouTube as well as troll posts on Reddit. I think as much stock as I actually put into some of the positive indicators of that post, it probably got totally negated by a lot of the negative indications about the poster and of course where it was posted. Even beyond all of that, I should have posted a retraction or took the video down way earlier than I did. In the next 72 hours after filming that video, I realized that some of the information was wrong, and again, I probably should have privated the video or at least put a comment on that video right away. I didn't do that, and it's something I'm going to do more often going forward. Needless to say, the entire leak was fake. The guy just got really lucky with predicting Battlecry Studios, which even that isn't that crazy. Bethesda is a massive company producing massive games, and there are hundreds if not thousands of speculation posts all over the internet about it. I put way too much stock into the fact that this guy got one fact correct ahead of time, when in reality, among all of these crazy predictions being made by different people, it's probably not even that unlikely. So now moving on, we do have the follow-up video, the one that a lot of people really disliked me posting, and that is, I think Starfield is fake and this is why. A lot of people were really angry about the timing of these two videos. Again, one was posted 2 days after the other. I posted about a Starfield leak and how I thought it might be plausible, and then 2 days later I posted about how I think Starfield in its entirety is fake and not coming. This led a lot of people to think I was just making these videos for views or just trying to clickbait people into clicking on them, and although I totally understand why people would think that, and I don't even think you could fault anyone for thinking that, because looking at it from like a third-person perspective, that does make a lot of sense. That wasn't the case though. I just genuinely had my opinion changed. I think one thing I could have done right off the bat if I was going to make a video with that drastic of an opinion change is actually establish more clearly why I changed my opinion, and in general just dedicate more of that follow-up video as to why my opinion was changed. With that being said, the video in itself did have inaccuracies and I want to go over those now. The two major points I made as to why I don't think Starfield is the next game coming is first and foremost some of the trademark inaccuracies. I said that with Fallout 4, a lot of the trademarks for that game were held by Bethesda Softworks, but for Starfield, the trademarks were actually held by ZeniMax. I was trying to establish a correlation here that it wouldn't make sense for the most recently released Bethesda Game Studios games trademarks to be held by Bethesda Softworks, but their future ones to be held by ZeniMax. In reality, that trend only started with Fallout 4. A lot of the Elder Scrolls trademarks are held by ZeniMax also, despite the fact that Bethesda Game Studios is developing those games too. And really the big detail I should have included or should have done more research into figuring out is the fact that Bethesda Softworks holds the trademark for Fallout. It wasn't something they created, it was something they purchased from Interplay. So with that in mind, it makes way more sense for Fallout 4 to also be under Bethesda Softworks and not ZeniMax. But again, that's different because they purchased the Fallout trademark. For a new IP, something like Starfield, it wouldn't make that same amount of sense for it to be under Bethesda Softworks like I incorrectly put forward in that video. The other point I got somewhat wrong was in that video I said, for Bethesda Game Studios games, the trademarks are filed relatively close to the announcement date. This is also largely incorrect, and really one of my big faults here was actually using the US trademark search. That doesn't justify what I was doing, but that is why I think I got this video so wrong. If I used something else like Justita, or however you pronounce that, I probably would have had way more accurate details, and that's on me. I should have tried using a different tool, or the tool that so many others were using to actually come to their conclusions. Either way, both of those things were wrong. I should have done more research, I should have used different sources and not just relied on one source as heavily. And although I'm still skeptical about Starfield being the next game, I may have misled other people into being skeptical when they wouldn't have otherwise been based on false evidence I put forward. So that's largely the point of this video. Again, it's just more or less a big apology for misleading you guys. Going forward, I'm definitely going to be using different sources and actually trying to figure out why my facts are false more so than trying to figure out why they're true. I think that was a big issue I had with those two videos. I was trying to find evidence to further my existing points and not really acknowledging or putting as much stock into evidence that disagreed with my existing points. Going forward, if I ever make more speculation videos, I really want to put more of an emphasis on actually showing both sides of the issue, saying this is why some people will think this is true and this is why some people will think this is false, and then what my opinion is. In some of these past videos, it was more just this is why I think it's true and it's my opinion all mixed in one. If you're looking for the reality or where things stand right now, I think there's a lot of evidence pointing towards a new Bethesda Game Studios game coming at this E3. Things like the Todd Howard interview, where he was making analogies as to wrapping up a game, how it's similar to moving house.
It's like you forget.
Yeah.
You know, if you move, you haven't moved in a while. Moving is terrible. Packing and moving or having a child, not terrible, but the pressures of it and the those are you forget how hard it is to finish a game.
Things like the recent Bethesda tweet where they talked about how they have a lot of stuff they want to show us, and things like the Pete Hines interview at PAX East where they say they hope to have a game for everyone at this E3, which we are hoping does include Bethesda Game Studios fans with a AAA RPG since it's the type of game so many of us are hoping for. But again, I believe all that's pointing towards a new Bethesda Game Studios AAA RPG. There's also evidence pointing towards the game Starfield, like the trademark, and the fact that they've been putting money into renewing that trademark and keeping it up to date, with the last one being only a couple months ago. And of course the fact that Todd Howard mentioned how he has a list of genres of games he wants to make that he made years ago, and over the years Bethesda has started but never actually completed a bunch of different space or sci-fi based games. So that pretty much wraps it up for this video. Again, a big apology to all of you watching, and especially those of you who watched those previous two videos. I should have made this video or a more formal retraction way earlier than I did, and it's something that I promise I'll improve on going forward, and if I make any more speculation videos, hopefully they won't share these same issues. But again, as always, I thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later!